8 ways. There was originally 17, but there's 8 ways that the food industry tricks you and your brain into eating more food than what you need or what you want. And what you're going to see after today's show is that there are industry secrets that they use to turn on or make your brain eat more food than what you normally would. And what you're going to see after today's show is this is a researched and studied effort to find ways to make you eat more food than what you normally would. And like I said, I originally had 17 of these, but I narrowed it down to the most interesting 8 just due to our time constraints. And, just know this, the way the menu looks, the lighting, the music, the smells, none of that is just happen chance. It is all orchestrated to make you eat more food. The whole setup, from the time you walk in to the time you order your food, these things are studied and researched. And so here we go. Number one is colors, the colors of your surrounding. And if you've ever noticed that Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, and Carl Jr.'s all use the same 2 colors, red and yellow. And this is not a coincidence. Red makes you eat faster and more forcefully, and yellow stimulates your appetite by causing your brain to secrete serotonin. And so this red and yellow pattern that, the vast majority of the restaurants use is because those 2 colors are studied to turn on the hunger and activate your eating centers of your brain. And so even the color of the decor or the color of the tables and chairs is all designed to increase your appetite or increase the amount that you eat. So
did you know, Doc, that nightclubs that a lot of the larger nightclubs, I mean Baton Rouge, New Orleans, I'm not sure if people in Miami do it, but some of the larger nightclubs, more successful nightclubs around the country, light have it's not like in your face. It's usually kind of hidden, kind of tucked away. But they use red, yellow, and green lights. And when people walk into nightclubs with that lighting, you don't really realize it. Like I said, it's not like a spotlight in your face. It's kind of tucked away like a tile or something. But what it does is it makes people look better and makes people look sexier.
Right.
And people tend to have a better time and drink more.
Wow.
Go to some of the clubs in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You'll see they're red, yellow, and green. And those 3 colors make people look better.
So that's one of those situations then once you get them outside, you're like, oh, yikes.
Or the next morning.
Yeah. You're like, yikes.
All the girls.
What did I do?
Well, this show is certainly
and the other moral to this story, too, with the red and yellow is don't paint your kitchen red or yellow. That would be a real bad idea.
Well, a lot of people are giving red in their dining rooms.
Yeah.
Kitchens.
Yeah.
You see that a lot.
It makes you...
Isn't your kitchen red?
No.
No? Your dining room? Something in your house is red.
My living room has red highlights.
Ah, okay.
Red curtains and big red Elvis portrait.
Yeah. So,
well, it is.
Uh-huh.
So don't eat in your living room.
Right.
And
yeah.
And that's if I'm going. I never sit down to eat.
Well,
I just eat at the counter in the kitchen. But if I do, if there's something good on television, I will take. I will take it in there. And come to think of it, as I think of it, if I eat standing up at the counter in the kitchen, I usually just finish what's there and I don't go for seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I take it to if I take it to the living room, Doc, where there's a lot of red in my living room. If I take it to the living room, inevitably I will get up and get seconds.
Well, that's actually a perfect segue into my second one, which is the television. Eating in front of the television, now get this, can increase your calorie intake 71%, according to many studies.
Why?
I guess because it distracts our brain from what we're actually doing. So as we're watching the TV, we're just sort of shoveling the food in and not really paying attention to what our body's telling us. So if you're at a restaurant, and it's like a sports restaurant where they have TVs there, turn your back to it. Of course, then your spouse is facing it, so they're going to eat 71% more. Or sit at a table that is not by the television. Now, eating at the table and not in front of the television at home is very important. And this is one change that I'm going to make at my house after researching this study. We have a tendency to sit in our chairs and eat in front of the television, kind of like what you were saying in the den. And I think that's kind of the way everybody does it nowadays. But from now on, we're going to eat at the table, which, I think now that Creed's a little bit older is a good thing to do anyway. You sit around and talk. Sit around and talk like on Leave It to Beaver instead of sitting in front of the TV instead of watching Family Feud every night,
Well, you have to bond because there's nothing else to do.
Right, exactly. So, honey, if you're listening, we're going to please eat at the table from now on. Now, number 3 has to do with colors again. And I'm kind of conflicted on this one because this time it's actually the colors of your food. And this is tough for me because the more colorful your dish usually means has more phytonutrients, more vitamins, more minerals, and it's healthier. And generally speaking, the brighter the food is, the more good stuff it has for you. But if you think about this, they did a study where they took a bowl of M&Ms and they gave one group 7 colored M&Ms, 7 different colors. The other group, they give 10 different colors. Now, the groups, and this was done over and over again, and the results were the same.
Okay, so wait. So one group got
7 colors,
and the other group
got 10 colors. The groups that were given 10 colors, 77% more they ate.
Wow.
There's something about us picking colors that, and this is why junk food is given bright colors. This is why, because there's something about us picking at colors and eating the bright colors has something. It does something with our brain.
But that's supposed to be good for you. Aren't you supposed to have bright colors on your plate?
Well, you are definitely. Bright greens and bright yellows, and I think that's what triggers our brain. That's normally the nutritious thing.
So if it's artificially colored, you're really in trouble.
Exactly. So if
like Skittles would not
right.
not be a healthy thing.
So if they made all the M&Ms brown, we would eat 77% less of them. That's pretty amazing. Now, if you think about this, if you have a bowl of M&Ms or a package of M&Ms there's something about picking at the different colors that sort of, gets people excited. And I think that may trace all the way back to the hunter-gatherer days, or something in our brain that just when we would see maybe a bright color berry, we would maybe stop and pick and pick at that. And so I think there's something that goes back to, to that way back, in the hunter-gatherer days. But yeah, brighter colors make us eat more food. So that's fine if it's, plants and berries and fruits and vegetables, but the artificial colored things, that's one of the reasons why we eat more. Now, number 4 before we go to break, and this is my favorite one. It is number 4 is artificial smells. Now, smells are one of the most powerful motivators to eat that we have in our bodies. What we smell goes directly into our appetite centers in our brain. And in fact, there are entire companies that produce artificial smells to pump into the air to influence your food order. Now, most people don't realize this. One such company called Scent Air has duplicated waffle cones, popcorn, Cinnabons, even grilled hamburgers. And in fact, there's one fast food restaurant that uses the smell of apple pie pumped over the registers to remind you to order an apple pie with your food order. So,
Wow.
yes, so they really manipulate us using our sense of sight and our sense of smell. And so, we've all been to the mall and walked by the pretzel store, and smelled the bacon and then went and bought one. That is not an accident that happens that way. That's a coordinated effort.
I have to chain myself to a kiosk.
Me too, yeah.
To avoid that.
It's funny you say that too, though, because I'm thinking about cooking and eating.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing the cooking, the meal just tastes so much better because
Right.
you've had that build up to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The smells and also eating slowly.
Uh-huh.
It's just a more pleasurable experience than just gobbling something down that you picked up in your car.
Absolutely. It definitely is.
To it.
Absolutely adds to the experience. Definitely. So, before we cut to break, just realize that we are being manipulated into eating lots of food, literally almost every day, constantly. We're being bombarded by these signals to tell us to overeat. And so what's the solution to this? It's not going to go away. It's important, though, that people realize this is happening so that they can resist it instead of just blindly ordering food based on this manipulation that's going on. So, step number one to solving this is just to realize it and know that this is going on. And that way you can step outside of it instead of falling right into it. All right. So
essentially it's like a subconscious thing.
It is. Yeah. We're being subconsciously bombarded by signals to eat. And I mean, come on, 2/3 of Americans now are overweight. It's time to put an end to this. It really is. So I have 4 more after the break, and one of them is going to blow your mind.
Next.